What's going on, guys? Super pumped for today's video. I'm joined by my good friend and former coworker, the king of cold calling himself out of the islands of St. Martin, Ruhan Bora. Ruhan, thank you so much for hopping on a video today with us. We're super excited for what we're about to shoot.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, so for today's video, we're going to give you guys 4 word tracks that work to best handle the objection that we get on cold calls. I'm not interested. Now, Ruhan, how many cold calls did you make this week, you think?
This week, probably like 200, so a little less than I normally do.
200 cold calls?
Yeah.
How many contacts do you think you had?
Out of that 200, probably 15 to 20.
15 to 20.
Yeah.
And of that 15 to 20, I'm sure all of them gave you at least one objection.
I don't think a single one didn't object to me calling them in the first place.
So firstly, we always have to expect to get an objection. You're never going to get a cold call and not have at least one objection. So when you expect to get the objection and you have the process in place to best handle it, it's really not that difficult to move the conversation forward. So again, we're going to give you guys 4 different word tracks, but let me refresh your memory from a previous video. The 4-step process that we use to handle the objection. Step number 1, we're going to pause. Step number 2, we're going to use a ledge statement. The ledge statements that I use, that makes sense. I didn't expect you to be interested. That's exactly why I called. I'm with you. I can appreciate that. I don't really use I understand. Do you use I understand?
I say it time to time. It really depends.
It really depends.
Yeah.
I don't say I understand because most other salespeople say it. I want to sound different, unique. 3rd step in the process, we're going to disrupt. So we're going to say something they're not expecting us to say. And then the 4th step, most important step for me, is ask an open-ended question that gets them engaged in a conversation. And if they're engaged in a conversation, Ruhan knows this, Ruhan sets a ton of meetings. If they're engaged in a conversation, they're not giving you one-word answers, you're going to gun for the meeting.
Yeah, and if you don't get the meeting on that very first call, by getting them talking, you get more information on them that you can use in future outreach as well. So
Absolutely.
If they're talking more, it's always a good sign.
There you go. Here we go, guys. Now we're going to do the role play with the 4 word tracks that work.
Yeah, I'm not interested.
That makes sense, Ruhan. Most people aren't interested the first time I call. When do you folks evaluate your options for office-based projects?
Yeah, I'm not interested.
I'm with you, Ruhan. I think the Dallas Cowboys have a better chance to win the Super Bowl next season than me calling you today and you being interested. Let me ask you, what criteria do you folks typically use to evaluate vendors for office-based projects? Yeah, Ruhan, I appreciate the call, man. I'm just not really that interested today.
Look, Matt, I completely understand. I didn't really expect you to be interested because you don't have enough information on what we do yet. But I do know that you are interested in attracting and retaining better talent, having happier employees, and just having a more efficient office space. Which of those resonate the most with your priorities?
Yeah, Ruhan, thanks for the call. Just not interested.
Matt, I figured that you weren't interested before I even called you today, because if you were, you probably would have returned the numerous calls and emails that I sent you. That being said, I am very passionate about the service that I provide, and I do think it'll bring big value to you and your organization. When do you see an office space project becoming a priority again?
There you have it, guys. That's Ruhan and my 4 word tracks that work on cold calls. If you have a different word track that's being very successful on a cold call, let us know in the comment section below. Like and subscribe. Look out for videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And thanks, Ruhan, for coming on the video.
Thanks for having me.